Hello everyone, my name is Stuart Thomas from the Retford Cycle Campaign, and I'm going to talk about the proposed new improved infrastructure on Randall Way and the North Road. So we lobbied hard for the funding. We were told by West Bridgeford that we're just a market town and wouldn't want any infrastructure, but it looks like we're going to get it, which is fantastic, absolutely brilliant for people of all ages and abilities. So this is before any construction's taken place. This time of recording is the 31st of July. So just taking you down Brewster's Way and Great North Road, which is just opposite the North Road. And this is just to really illustrate this separate piece of infrastructure they have at the moment, which is it's only signposted. There's no markings or other infrastructure until we get to just up here on the right. And I'm sure this is familiar to a lot of people, but it might not be to lots as well, because the whole point about new infrastructure is to make it feel safer for people to be attracted to cycling and walking. So yeah, we're just on North Road now, and we're just going to go across. This is going to be a toucan crossing, which is going to be fantastic for walkers and cyclists. So you'll have seen those down the road or down the roundabout near the Elizabethan, and there's one also on the Holcroft roundabout as well. So this is segregated and then goes to mixed use. So what we'll do is we'll also walk through the planning documentation as well, the official documentation. So you can tell this is a bit unclear really, isn't it, as to who has priority, but you just follow the highway code and it's a shared mixed use cycle path and footpath. Never had any problems over the years anyway, but when you've got a couple of kids with you on bikes as well, it's just easier if it's all segregated, but just my view. So yeah, so dismount here, walk across. This is all going to be both for pedestrians and cyclists, so that's going to be upgraded. That corner's awful. It's really difficult to see the cars that are coming out, and they're usually speeding. So if you didn't know, this is the beginning of Randall Way on the east end, and the west end, sorry. So we're going down here. These curves actually promote speed for cars rather than actually reducing speed, and if you decrease the angle of the curve, make them a bit sharper, they force drivers to slow down. But anyway, so down here, this is all going to be a footpath, which is going to, at least to the bus stop anyway, which is fantastic because there's nothing there at the moment. And then on the right hand side, that's going to be a two-way cycle route, and as you can see, there's plenty of space for all this. And then we've got the business estates on the left. So the new additional family pub and business estate on that side that's going to be filling the cornfield. This will provide good access, safer access, segregated access that we need all over town really. But this is going to be the first implementation in Retford, as far as I'm aware, of LTN 120 infrastructure, which is just brilliant. I mean, it's just the latest design standards. It prioritises pedestrians, cyclists and drivers, and makes it safer for everybody. Not just the fact of safety, but also the perception of it, to encourage people to cycle. And we see that all over the country, how things have improved massively where new infrastructure is being put in place. And of course, we've got the new highway code coming up, where there's a hierarchy of vulnerability. So the heavier the vehicle, the more dangerous the vehicle, the more responsibility, and you have to give way to cyclists, and cyclists have to give way to pedestrians, as an example. So the other thing we'd like to see, which isn't on the plan, is a footpath down here really. It's a mixed footpath cycle route, given the space. Because this is a major thoroughfare for pedestrians to get to, and cyclists to get to Idle Valley, which is really good for people's physical and mental health, especially during the lockdowns. And now it's being enjoyed by more people, a greater, wider audience. It's much more popular than it ever has been, really, as people continue to look after their health through physical exercise, walking, cycling, etc., and running. So anyway, the whole point of showing you this is just to show that a lot more needs to be done to improve that area. And I don't know if the councils could work together on the SIL and Section 106 funding for the North Road estates, because that certainly would provide a significant amount of money to cover the costs for this infrastructure. So again, it's of course about space and who the landowners are, but again, there's enough space there to make a cycle route on the right hand side anyway. Footpath, mixed use. But not an engineer, but there seems to be quite a few grass verges there that I'm sure are not going to impact the environment by them being used, and then probably the health benefits outweigh just a minor infringement into that side of the road. But it's just a subjective opinion. So we're travelling down here, and we're going to go right at this junction. So this T-junction that's approaching is the east end of Randall Way, and there's loads of space there, so that's going to be mixed use for cycle pedestrians. It would be good if the councils could think of the school in terms of extending the route down there at some point. So all this left-hand side, if you've seen the diagrams that we will go through and I've referenced at the beginning of this video, is going to be a two-way cycle route, which is going to be pretty amazing, pretty different. If you've not cycled around Manchester or London or any of the larger cities, it'll be different, and it's good because it helps. It's really clear for drivers and people on bikes and people on foot as to who's who, where's where, and it's good for safety in terms of speed and segregation. So that's it, and they'll be rerouting around the bus stops, so that it's good for everybody. It's more democratisation, perhaps, of the highway and the footpaths and cycle routes. So that's it. That's all I've got to say, really, until we get to the plans. So what we're going to do next is just continue to show you this video recording of the route before any of the changes. And hopefully, if it continues to be approved, then once it's all built, which I think is either towards the end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year, all subject to change, and that's just not an official thing that I'm aware of. But yeah. So another thing here is these corners. They're just, if you sharpen them up, they slow down cars when approaching the corner, because the amount of times you swing around this corner, you don't even see the pedestrians until now. And if you're going at over the speed limit, or even at the maximum speed limit, it's just ridiculous in terms of safety. So there we go. So we're just going down North Road and on the existing infrastructure and a mixed use path here. And I'm going to go up and down North Road just to show you that there's lots of improvements that are needed for the surface that we're told about. And this is not just North Road, it's other areas of Retford as well, of course. And that is in the Retford Walking and Cycling Audit, which is fantastic. Fantastically thorough. It does focus on the new estates in terms of its purpose, but it's comprehensive in looking at there are things they've missed because it's carried out by independent auditors, but it's a really good document for where we are, and the suggestions are really good as to how to improve things. I mean, we could be as good as York or Cambridge for cycling. I mean, that is a massive compliment for our town. In fact, Bassettlaw's population is similar to that of Cambridge, so there's a lot of we should be proud of where we are and who we are and what we're doing in this town. And in Bassetlaw, really, Worksop's fantastic as well in terms of the opportunities that both towns embrace and could embrace. So again, this is existing cycling infrastructure, which is pretty good, but there are parts that are appallingly bad. So on the right hand side towards the garage there, it's not safe at all. I mean, there are slight improvements in terms of signage, which are very valuable and welcomed, but the design is just really bad. However, saying that, the subway, the old Co-op, which is going to be a subway drive-through, I think, or a Greggs, sorry, it's the markings are modern, so they give priority to pedestrians and cyclists. So when that highway code changes in autumn, there's obviously going to be loads of issues. There'll be case law that will come out, but the whole point about the code is if you're not following it, what are you following? And that's used against those that don't comply with it, be they on foot or wheels. Yep, so again, this is just these bumpy bits here are not good. It just makes it really uncomfortable. And the potholes, when they fill them, they're not level to the surface. They're raised, so you're still jostled about, which just makes it unpleasant. It's not a cross-country ride. It is a main highway for all of us to use. On the right-hand side here, we've got the hospital. That junction, that T-junction, right side, is awful. It's pothole hell. You really are thrown off. You either got to look behind you, indicate, and move into the main road, out of the cycle lane, or go into the junction. Or obviously you could dismount, but you don't have to. Would you expect a driver to get out the car or move around? Cycling is a valid form of transport. It's not a fringe activity. So we're just going down here to show you, the potholes, and the have to stand on the pedals here just to get a bit of suspension, and I think you can see that the drainage isn't good either, but some good passing distances. I must say, the past few years, the passing distances are very good from most drivers. It's always the minority, of which there are many, but that spoil it and make things dangerous or feel unsafe. But that has improved a lot in town anyway, around here. And I can't speak for everyone, but just from my own experience, I cycle pretty much all over town. Anyway, so here we go. So here's the Randall Way Active Travel Fund site. I really do, obviously, please do. I encourage you to go there and to let them know your thoughts. Hopefully, all positive and supportive. Of course, any improvements or changes that are rational and you think would be right, fine. This is obviously the official documentation, so please do go to this. And it's a great site. It's really good, and the questionnaire doesn't take long at all. It's just really succinct, to the point. So there we go. And the diagram's fantastic. It shows you all the, as you'd expect, it's a blueprint, for want of the better phrase. But it shows all the different aspects of the new two-way cycle route, the additional footpaths, and again, it doesn't extend all the way down on the north side there, just so you can get to that bus stop, which is brilliant, and then opens up the new bits for the west. Obviously, help you get to the new estate or give opportunity for expansion there. But yeah, I do encourage you to go through it in detail. It's really worth looking at. They've added the improvements so that you can get across from the two-way side to the north side to the estates, which is really important. I think they could have done a bit more there, but obviously there's only so much money with the cost of the Pelican crossing and then all the other infrastructure that's needed. But we fully support it. It's absolutely brilliant improvement for the town, and the money can't go anywhere else. It's the Active Travel Fund money. It's for cycling and walking, and NCC have chosen that site, which actually is really good because it needs it for the new housing estate for kids getting to school, parents getting to work, or single couples going to work, getting to school, whatever. It's a much better proposition, and hopefully it will inspire and infuse people to lobby for more of the same infrastructure throughout town. Anyway, that's enough for me. Thank you very much for your time, and please let the Nottinghamshire County Council know your views, hopefully positive, and support as well. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.